the Hawks are going to be in this sweepstake for getting Giannis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Giannis right now, there's really 3 teams that have like the best percentage chance to get him. It's been the Knicks, the Hawks, and the Spurs. The Knicks feels like the most unrealistic one because of the assets they don't have to trade. Karl Anthony Towns would be the feature in that. I think that a 3-team deal between the Pelicans would have to be what they need to do because the Pelicans own some of the Bucks' first-round picks from the Drew Holiday trade ages ago.
I hated the trade.
The Bucks need those picks back, so they would have to get involved. The Pelicans have been open about wanting to, get whatever they can for Zion. And Joe Dumars, I think, also made a statement that they're going to be looking at a win-now move to make up for the fact that they traded away their 2026 first-round pick. So this could be another desperation move. But
when you got to, double down.
Oh my
When you make a
God.
bad decision, you got to double
The
down.
Pelicans, if you're relegated, bro.
But Derek Queen and Fears, they look.
it does feel
my
like,
God.
though, the Hawks have the best package available for the Bucks when you look at the picks they have, because some of the picks they have are also swaps with the Bucks, and because of the young star they have in
And they have
Jalen
the
Johnson. Like, people are basically giving the Bucks trade packages. They're either one of the two. One involves Trae Young and one doesn't. I think if you're the Hawks, if you can get Giannis and keep Jalen Johnson, you're ecstatic at that.
Ooh, they're
But-
redundant.
I don't think the Bucks will accept an offer for Trae Young because Trae Young kind of is what he is. Jalen Johnson is an up-and-coming young player. He has more value. I think if you want to get a Giannis deal done, the Hawks would have to trade Jalen Johnson and possibly even Zachary Risachet. Like, I think that's how valuable Giannis is. But if Giannis does go to the Hawks, pair ups with Trae, with Porzingis, with Onyeka, with Dyson Daniels, with Alexander Walker, what do you think the ceiling for that team is?
Well, first of all, I think Giannis and Jalen are redundant. I don't think they make sense on the court together. I think, and I do agree, I think if you have to get Giannis, you have to move Jalen.
Yeah.
Now, depending on if you, the Hawks GM, you have to decide, do I still believe in Trae Young? If I do, I make the deal. If you don't believe in Trae Young, I'd stay clear of the deal. But I do think Trae Young and Giannis is kind of a sexy backcourt just because a sexy duo. I still trying to figure out how to work though, because Trae Young loves the pick and roll. Giannis is still not too fancy of being a pick and roll type of partner. He's not the greatest at setting screens at this point. Giannis is what he is. I think with the Hawks, it's going to be interesting because they do have a little bit of draft capital they could sprinkle around. I do like the Spurs destination. I think Giannis and Wemby would be kind of fire. I tweeted this. I said, if you're the Bucks, you do whatever you can. If you do trade him to the Spurs, get Dylan Harper back in that deal. You need a franchise changer. You need somebody who you can build around, and Dylan Harper would be the perfect get. If you can even grab Stephon Castle in the deal, that'd be cool too. But try to get one of those guys. And you said the other team was the Pels?
The Knicks.
The Knicks.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work. Because the point of getting Giannis is to pair him with Cat. So who are you moving to go get Giannis? Because I feel like if you pair Cat and Giannis together, that's kind of fire. But I also think Giannis's defense has kind of declined over the last year or two. So that's going to be interesting to see. Offensive game has been pretty dope, but he's still a big that doesn't stretch the floor. He's a big that's ball handling, still a little up and down. He relies heavily on his athleticism, which means how is he going to age? How is he going to look in the next couple years? And let's be realistic. That Giannis package is nuts.
Yeah.
And you still have to cater to his game. So you have to bring him in knowing you have to build your entire infrastructure around Giannis. He's that type of player. He's that type of person that brings that type of energy. And I've seen people try to throw OKC in the mix. If I'm OKC, I stay clear of that.
21-1.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Giannis.
We don't even want to mess up our money situation. And if I'm other teams, I'm thinking about that. And I get it. Giannis is an exceptional player. He's a top 3 player on the planet. That's going to be 60 to 70 to 80 mil you're going to have to give soon enough. And on top of that, you're going to have to give up a ton of draft capital, a ton of trade assets.
You seem uncertain.
Huh?
To make a move.
I think if I'm a team that's nowhere close, or if I'm a team that has to give up too much, I'm not doing it. As great as Giannis is, I just think he's not portable enough. You really have to build everything around him. And on top of that, age, plus he's hurt right now. How is he going to age? His game is just, it's so different. Like, it's not a Jokic where he can shoot the ball from the mid-range. You can put him at the top of the key. He can do dribble handoffs. He's a great passer. It's not a guy like Steph where you can just put him in a bunch of actions, bring him off screens. It's not Kevin Durant where you can just plug him anywhere. No, this is a specific type of player where you have to build around. I don't know if these 3 teams Well, Knicks maybe depends on who they move, but I don't know if these three teams are the teams outside of the Spurs that I would do it.
You don't think the Hawks, Trey, Giannis, Porzingis,
I'm not too fond of that.
Dyson, Alexander Walker, how he's playing, and Onyeka, they could make
Their
it
best
out the
centers in
East.
Onyeka right now. And Onyeka's taking more and more threes to where I honestly think, in a way, you could play Jalen Johnson at the 3 with Giannis the 4 and then one of KP or Onyeka at the 5. The name for Giannis, the destination for Giannis that no one's talking about is the Detroit Pistons.
Oh,
This is a first seed in the Eastern Conference that it's as wide open as they're going to get. You have your first round picks in every single season. And you have some young talent like Ron Holland and Jaden Ivey who's coming off injury. You can't develop all of these players, especially when you're going all in. If you're going to make an all-in move, it's hard to find a player better than Giannis. It's often the trades you don't make. You can make the case that maybe Giannis doesn't fit their timeline perfectly. But why wouldn't you go on a year where Tatum's out, Halliburton's out, Garland in Cleveland is not 100%, and it feels like the only true competitor is the New York Knicks, and then maybe one or two other teams that are kind of like the Pistons are the next best
It's
team.
like the
in
Heat,
East.
bro.
So I look at the state of this conference and I say the Pistons, I don't know how much being a divisional opponent really plays an impact in a trade discussion like this. If I'm the Bucks, I'd rather trade them to the Western Conference. But I think the Pistons are the team that can offer a lot. For the Knicks, you don't have the scratch. And the other two squads, I think the fit in Detroit would be great, though, because they can play with the pace that Giannis will thrive with Cade. And I think that would be the Cade and Giannis pairing better than Trey Young and Giannis.
I think really any team in the Eastern Conference should be involved. The Knicks, Pistons, the Heat, if they want to get involved, they're always talking about some superstar because it goes beyond this year. Like, as much, obviously, diehard Celtics fan, I'm not going to pretend like it's just set in stone. They're going to run this conference for the next 10 years, right? I think every single team in the East, it's up for grabs, right? The Knicks have looked a bit underwhelming this season. The Cavs have looked underwhelming. Detroit looks great right now, but this is Detroit's first real year being like at this level of contender. Of course, you got Boston way in the wings, who have been, I think impressive for what our expectations have been. But even once Tatum gets back, this is a roster that still needs a lot of help. They've been in some rumors for Zubac if he becomes available. They need another big. They need some bench depth, even though their young guys are playing well. So right now the East is just so open that whoever gets Giannis, if he does get traded, you become an instant contender, right? I think even if the Hawks had to move off Jalen Johnson, which is something I wouldn't want to do, but also if you're the Hawks, like, what is this team if you just keep Jalen Johnson and you try to build around him? Like, I know you have some draft picks and some assets that maybe you could turn into something, but if you get Giannis, you get the best player in the conference, and even though the roster would need some work, you would still become one of the favorites to win the conference, which is what you aren't right now. Detroit would speed up the process, depending on what the package has to be, but you're keeping Cade, you're keeping Duren probably? I don't know. I mean, that's someone
They
that
have to trade Duren.
Yeah, because I don't know is Ivy really that well regarded. To me, the trade that makes the most sense is still San Antonio, because if you're Milwaukee, you can get the proven, but like the highly touted prospect in Dylan Harper, plus some draft picks. And if you're giving up Harper, maybe you don't have to give up 5 first round draft picks. Maybe it's only a couple. So that always felt like the team that made the most sense to me. But I mean, it's Giannis. I think every team should be interested. It's just it's asset allocation, because you have to give up everything basically if you're most teams. But when you get him, you become a contender. And I know the last couple of years haven't been great for Milwaukee, but I don't look at that as a Giannis issue. The issue has been his health, number one. Number two, the roster around him has just been terrible, right? Like, you've had the Dame stuff that hasn't been great, but then the role players they put around him, they haven't blossomed like you want them to.
Well, the Hawks are the best destination. They have a young star they can trade, and they have the draft capital. They have the 2026 Pelicans first round pick, which could be a highly touted pick. It could be a top 5 pick, and you give that to Milwaukee. It restarts and just supersedes the rebuild, because they have that young star. And I also think that the Bucks, like, I would not want any point guard back in a deal. I think that Ryan Rollins is their point guard for the next couple of years. He is like the modern day like Drew Holiday for them, where he can defend at a high level. He's a good offensive player.
Very good.
He's just really solid. Like, you don't touch that. You don't need to bring in a ball dominant player for that. Like, if you have Jalen Johnson and Ryan Rollins, and then you can draft players around that, I like that direction better for the Bucks than like getting Cat or getting Trey Young.
Well, no, I hated the 3-way trade for the Pelicans. That was something I was.
Well, it benefits the Knicks the most. And I will say this: Knicks fans are gonna hate me for this, but Jalen Brunson is not untouchable in any of these deals. If
That defeats the purpose
I'm not
of
trading
making a
Brunson.
deal.
You might say that, but it's either Cat gets traded to make the money work, or Brunson in a combination
What
of
about
another
OG?
player
Yeah,
gets
but-
traded. For me,
Giannis is 31.
this is how I view the Knicks. If you bring in Giannis and you trade Cat and OG, you have no perimeter stopper.
Cat and OG?
Yeah, I mean,
Why would you
I'm
trade
assuming.
both?
I mean, to Cat, I don't think has enough value to hold his own in a deal. To be
Well,
honest,
OG's making 40, so you don't need to add much. You're just adding like 90 million.
yeah, but any trade that happens, the Bucks are probably gonna package Giannis
Kuz.
and Kuzma because that's the bad contract they have. So
Getting Kuzma back.
for me, I as much as possible, I want to have Giannis and keep OG and Mikal, 2 wing stoppers to give you the ultimate length advantage. That's why I don't think Brunson is like untouchable in these talks.
You have some sort of secondary ball handling.
You do have to have that, but I think Giannis can handle the ball. Like
But then it's like Deuce becomes.
if the dream scenario is between like, do you want to pair up Cat, OG, Mikal, and Giannis, or Brunson, Mikal, OG, and
Brunson and
Giannis?
Brunson and Mikal,
Yeah.
OG and
Yeah.
Giannis.
Like, I think from Brunson's a better player, but from the fit perspective, Giannis fits better with all of those other players because none of them dominate the ball. Like, I think we still have to remember how the Dame tenure ended. They didn't have much depth around those two, but it also was a quirky fit because both of them, they're at their best when they have the basketball. Even though Giannis is this imposing,
But Brunson
Paint
has
force.
played with obviously he wasn't
he
the
has,
same talent.
so
but
he
he's
can
done
drive
before.
with it.
Yeah.
It's just the more I watch the Knicks and the more I watch Brunson and the more I watch Cat, it's just really hard to win a championship
Yeah.
when you have 2 defensive liabilities like that. And I think Brunson is even more of a defensive liability because he doesn't have any size.
Yeah.
You know, looking at the Celtics game, Jaylen Brown was just hunting Jalen Brunson the entire time, rising up over him and getting any shot he wanted. And Brunson, for as much as he provides offensively, he's one of the best offensive players in the world. Can he hold his own defensively? Is he going to give up more points defensively than he scores for you offensively? Because he is that much of a defensive liability to me.
I just don't think there's any world that New York is, if those 2 offers are presented to them by Milwaukee, where they're giving up Jalen Brunson.
Also, if you trade Brunson, you're not winning a championship.
Also,
That's
I'm cool on
cut and dry for me.
Detroit should not do it. No. That is not the move.
Just build?
It's Devin Booker or nothing.
Devin Booker.
I will
You
say this,
pair
though.
Devin Booker with Cade. You
love
don't. You
that.
pair another ball handler on the perimeter. They don't have enough shooting to put around Giannis. Like right now, they don't have enough shooting.
You
You know
make
what
a
I'm
great
saying?
point on that.
So like, I think you need to bring in another guy who provides the same amount of attention on
Yeah.
the perimeter as Cade.
Plug
If not, if the deal isn't there where you're not giving up too much, you just build how you've built.
Plug in AJ Green in the trade.
And this is why, like with the Knicks, if they
like AJ
trade
Green.
for Giannis, I
Like
think
it too.
that
Like
2
Yes.
of the 4 most important players on the Knicks probably have to go.
What about?
Yeah.
I feel like OG, Josh Hart, and
Mikal
somebody
can't
else
get
makes the money
traded.
work.
Mikal can't get traded
Yeah, I
until
know.
February 1st.
I feel like that should just stay
That's
clear of the
before the
deal.
trade
That's
deadline.
not enough.
Nah, no, I'm just trying to think
The
of how
Knicks are
money
not
works.
getting Giannis. I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah, they're not.
There's the Spurs some more scratch. The
The-
Hawks.
the only way
the
is-
Heat. The
Does
Pistons.
Giannis say like
Yeah.
I'm only going to New York?
If he does, they send him. I think Giannis has garnered that respect
Well,
from
the
the
Bucks have
franchise.
said, it was reported, I should say, is that whatever team Giannis chooses, they're going to
He's
try to
slow.
make the best possible deal with that team.
That's respect.
but
That's
what,
it.
I feel like Giannis to give just one team seems kind of crazy.
I think he'll give a top 3. Or he'll say 1.
But
He's
it was
good.
also reported that the Knicks are not an exclusive trade partner with them
Yeah, what's
because
the Knicks have the Bucks won?
for
Damn
nothing.
thing.
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
why are we talking
Outside
about
of
this?
the
'Cause
wings,
if
but,
Giannis,
I'm
if
going to
Giannis
get.
is like
I'm-
that's where I'm going.
If I am going to
but it's
trade,
not the worst thing to
He's
build
under
around a
contract,
28-year-old.
bro.
it's Dylan Harper,
He's
man.
not
I'm
expiring.
it's Dylan Harper. Like I'm looking
Over
at
Jalen Johnson?
Yeah, he's younger. Respect. Like Jalen's nice. I'm not saying Jalen's not nice, but you have a literal walking 6'5" star in San Antonio. He's on a rookie deal. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Johnson's going to get paid 30 soon. Like, I know they extended him.
Yeah, he has like one of the best contracts. in the league
Yeah,
right now.
I think like Dylan Harper, you're getting this new guy who you can build around. Like, I like Jalen Johnson too, and I think the draft picks are appealing in Atlanta. But I like Dylan Harper too, man. I like
could do
Dylan
that.
Harper a lot.
I love Dylan Harper jersey.
Yeah, Giannis. Shout out to Harper.
I'll just come out and say I think Dylan Harper's going to be better than Jalen Johnson. That's why I'll go get him.
I think he's a
Not mad at that.
Yeah.
Superstar is a strong word nowadays.
Nah,
but I
fuck
think
it.
he
I
is
think he's gonna be one.
offensive supernova in the making. He reminds me of Harden coming off the bench in Oklahoma City all those years ago. He's gonna slowly get worked in. Once he gets
I feel
the
like
keystone
supernova is
offense,
just
he
as
can be
good,
an
bro.
off. He can be an all NBA caliber player to me with his offensive pedigree. The thing with Giannis is that he has a year and a half left in his contract before he has a player option. So
You're not getting the max value for him.
So you want to trade him sooner rather than later because a year from now, when he is actually an expiring,
think so?
when he's a flight risk in a year, if you're the Bucks, you
Yes.
can't afford losing the best player in
If
franchise
Giannis-
history.
if
for
Giannis
urgency. You can't
says-
do it.
There's no team I'm extending with outside
fair.
of this X team.
Yes.
He
Then
controls
definitely.
it.
And also,
Yeah.
Giannis has been injured in the playoffs a couple times over the past couple years. Hurt last year. Just
Yeah,
got hurt
yeah.
just now. Body's aging. He's getting up there in age. He has the game has, I don't want to say regressed because I feel like it's rude, but
Definitely not aggressive. Maybe defensively.
Yeah,
I don't
defensively,
know what
yes.
it was.
He's still he's a top 3 player in the world.
no, for sure. Because offensively, he's just unstoppable. But it gets to a point where you're going to be 33. Are you still going to be dominating the way you dominate? I don't know.
And he's putting up numbers on a bad team right now. So
They have lost like 10 in a row.
They also
started
they're like
off
1
pretty
and 6
decent.
without him. They cannot.
Yeah, they can't win
when
games.
he's
look at
not
the rest of the
lineup, you know.
roster. You know what I mean? Like,
No, the roster is abysmal, dog.
they got some pieces
they've
that are
got-
interesting, but I mean, yeah, you're gonna lose a lot of games.
They've
without them.
actually done a good job finding pieces in the margins.
They just
It's
can
nowhere
shoot.
near enough.
They can shoot at a high clip.
Yeah.
And that always keeps you in games.
the Bucks did the best possible job they could have this offseason. The Miles
test him
Turner
on
signing
field,
was
by
like
the way.
cool, but Ryan Rollins developing into like a legitimate starting point
Andrews
guard.
drops that. Just let me know. Okay? Sorry.
He
go on.
does. Ryan Rollins developing into a legitimate starting point guard.
Oh, we know.
Like,
yeah.
come on, man. Like they
awesome.
couldn't have done anything more. They did everything they could.
I've said it like so many times, but it's pretty awesome. I think I stopped saying that word, but to see him kind of blossom after I think he was waived by the Wizards.
Yeah, because he
And so
stole
he's
from like
an
a grocery
efficient-
store.
Yeah, an efficient scorer, a good defensive player,
Was
and a
he poor or
well-rounded
something?
scorer.
I don't know.
He's been really a revelation for them, given
I have a tweet about Ryan Rollins, I think.
given where he was drafted in the second round. The Warriors are one of the best teams at finding players later in the draft. Let him go on that pull
Toledo.
trade, right?
Brandon Aubrey's got 20.
You know
points
where
fantasy,
Michael
by the
Porter Jr.
way.
would fit really well? Golden State.
Probably. Actually, like a glove.
Golden State.
You want they want Kuminga?
Make him the second splash brother.
There would never be another splash, brother, I fear.
It's an insane thing to say.
He can shoot like
What a
it.
terrible
Shoot
George
like who?
Pickens game.
Shoot like one of them splash brothers.
Who?
Clay.
Does he shoot 40% from the three-point line?
Nah, I think he's like 39%.
Oh.
Clay is a much better shooter.
Yeah. Listen, I wouldn't mind my MPJ because he's coming into be a role. You're a high-level role player. Come be a role player, brother.
Come win a championship, man.
Fuck no.
Come
Yeah,
win
I
a
saw
championship.
Golden State could be in the Giannis sweepstakes.
Yeah, I ain't getting him,
Yeah.
man.
What the fuck you
Look
got
at
to
staring
give
at the
up?
package
We
around
actually have
AirPods.
all our
Yeah.
picks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have.
You really?
Yeah, we have all our picks. And Steph's retiring soon. That 2028 pick.
Would
Why
you
would-
trade
Why would
for?
Giannis want to go there?
He loves Steph. He dicks rides Steph every chance he gets.
I guess if you're saying stuff.
Would you trade for Anthony Davis
If I'm who?
or Golden State?
You're training.
What are you
You're
giving
done.
up?
No.
You have to give up Draymond.
No.
Yeah.
Respect.
No way.
80 better. 80's so unreliable. He's so unreliable.
So even if the trade is Draymond and picks and like Kuminga for AD,
You know, we can make the money work without Draymond.
for AD.
Yeah.
Really? Is
Yeah.
that true?
Pretty sure. Because how much does Draymond make? 27? Kuminga makes 20. Moody makes 12. Buddy Hield makes 9. And you just keep adding from there.
That's interesting.
Could be wrong, though.
That's a good big four.